Cancun Senator Ted Cruz defended a parent who carried out a Nazi salute during a school board meeting. Now, he did this during a Senate Judiciary Committee hearing where the DOJ was involved. You have Merrick Garland there, the Attorney General. And I just thought that this was a fascinating exchange. So let's watch.
I did a quick count just sitting here. During this hearing, I counted 20 incidents cited. Of the 20, 15 on their face are nonviolent. They involve things like insults. They involve a Nazi salute. That's one of the examples. My God, a parent did a Nazi salute at a school board because he thought the policies were oppressive. General Garland is doing a Nazi salute at an elected official. Is that protected by the First Amendment?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
It would have been, I would argue a lot better for Ted Cruz to be that fired up when the people of Texas were dying as a result of their privatized, deregulated energy grid. But he decided to take a little trip to Cancun. 230 Texans died as a result of that. But apparently the only thing that fires him up is defending Nazi salutes during school board meetings. So Cruz accused Merrick Garland of directing the FBI to go investigate parents as domestic terrorists. The memo contains no mention of domestic terrorists at all. It asked law enforcement to look into threats and intimidation against school officials in response to the National School Boards Association's letter to the president last month, asking for federal assistance to address the growing number of threats and violence. And we've shown you examples of that, of those threats and that violence. And we also covered how there's right-wing money funding those efforts during those school board meetings in an effort to get school board members to resign so they can take control. So who knows how many of those organizations and right-wing millionaires and billionaires are funding Ted Cruz to just openly and brazenly defend Nazi salutes, but it is what it is. That's who Ted Cruz is.
So look, you can get past the Nazi salute thing. He's saying, hey, they're protesting tyranny and they're against the Nazis and they think the school boards are Nazis. Yes, our school boards across America, well-known fascists. So that's what the right wing is telling their voters, their audiences, and they're egging them on. Oh, go fight the local school board. Oh my God, they're gonna make you wear masks to protect fellow kids. They're trying to protect the lives of kids. They're Nazis, and they really believe it. They're 100% sold in on it, etc. But put that aside for a second. So Cruz and Cotton made a giant display. Tom Cotton is a Republican senator from Arkansas about, oh my God, they're so mad. You are trying to get the crack down on innocent parents who are just verbally objecting based on policy, and you're gonna put them in jail. Okay, show us one instance where the Justice Department did that.
Just one.
Just one, where the Justice Department under Merrick Garland took a parent who complained verbally about and just that did nothing at all physical, did no threats, but vociferously complained, right?
Right.
Which they have every right to.
And he did the Nazi salute.
Okay, and the Nazi salute.
Yeah.
So is that guy in jail?
No.
No, he's not in jail. Are any of those parents in jail? No, they're not in jail.
Is he being investigated? Okay.
No. So it's a fiction. It's not arguable. It's not he said, she said.
Manufactured.
It's totally manufactured. It's faux outrage. And so that's the theatrics that they do. And Ted Cruz went to Harvard and Princeton or whatever he went to, right? He knows, he's just a bad actor. He wanted to be in Hollywood. And so there's a lot of Republican politicians who are genuinely dumb, Louis Gohmert, and among many others, okay? Who are like, oh, I don't know, school boards are Nazis now, okay, I got the Nazis. The Nazis try to protect kids, right? No, they didn't. They did quite the opposite, right? But Cruz knows, so he does his fake acting and he's like, I will tell you something, shut up. Okay, but now the last part of this is this. So the Justice Department is saying, if you physically threaten or assault school board members, we're gonna hold you to account because you're breaking the law. So my question back to Ted Cruz and Tom Cotton would be, do you not want us to do that? Do you think that if somebody attacks a school board member, we should just let him go?
I want to know what Rand Paul thinks. I know Rand Paul has some strong feelings in regard to physical assault.
That's right. No, because they're saying we don't want the Justice Department looking into assaults at all of school board members,
right,
or physical threats. Rand Paul got his ass handed to him by his neighbor, which I don't think neighbors should have done that. I think it's terrible, okay? So, but is the new law, according to Republicans, just everybody fights and the government can't do anything about it? There's no arrest, there's no rule of law. But Democrats are weak. So Merrick Garland sat there and took all this abuse, and then he's told by Biden and the others, never, ever, ever fight back against Republicans. Just bow your head and just sit there and get yelled at. And so what's the image that that Americans are left with? It seems like the Republicans are justifiably outraged, and the Democrats never fight back. So I guess the Democrats are wrong and the Republicans are right.
You're so right about that. But like, I also want to just go back to how infuriated Republicans were, conservatives were, when someone who doesn't like Tucker Carlson so much quietly approached him at, I think, like some sort of like fishing store or something, and told him that he doesn't like him.
Yeah, he said he was full of crap, I think, in Montana.
Yeah, said that he's full of crap, didn't threaten him.
Dan Bailey.
Yeah, Dan Bailey told him he's a bad guy. And the right wing was like, this is unacceptable. How dare he, right? Or American citizens approaching lawmakers who are engaging in bad behavior and letting them know how they feel about it. Oh my God, they're approaching them while they're enjoying their dinner. How dare they? But school board members getting threatened, that's okay. Because school boards, they're full of terrible people who want to actually educate your kids about things that make them uncomfortable.
So, by the way, do we have evidence on our side? You can go back and watch our videos. There's at least half a dozen cases where they very specifically threaten violence against these poor people. And that is a violation of the law. That is, threatening violence is also assault. So if right wing says now we don't want laws, we hate laws, we just want to be able to threaten and assault anyone we like. Okay, that's a fascinating twist in American history, but that is where they're headed. But look, so I want to be constructive, okay? By the way, I would tell you a funny quick story first. We have this great shirt called the Anti-Vaxxer Club at shop2it.com. And that's my favorite shirt. I wear it around. Here in LA, it's easy. People love the shirt generally. But I ran into a Republican, he didn't like the shirt. And he's giving me a dirty look about the Anti-Vaxxer Club, right? I'm like, dude, you guys are in favor, your whole thing is freedom of speech. Freedom of speech. I like your shirt. I like your shirt. Shut up about it, I don't care. It's called freedom of speech, look into it.
Did he really told you he didn't like your shirt?
No, he gave me a stink eye, I'm exaggerating. Okay, but he gave me a significant stink eye. Okay, so we'll keep it real here. So now, what constructive critique, what should Merrick Garland have done? Senator Cruz, you keep asking me about things that we're not doing. So I wanna ask you, what we actually did do was say that if anyone commits a crime, that they should be investigated. So I want to ask you, is it your position that people who commit crimes should not be investigated?
It's so easy.
So easy, and he won't do it because he's a Democrat.
Oh God, Democrats are the worst.
Thanks for watching The Young Turks, really appreciate it. Another way to show support is through YouTube memberships. You'll get to interact with us more. There's live chat emojis, badges. You've got emojis of me, Anna, John, JR, so those are super fun. But you also get playback of our exclusive member-only shows and specials right after they air. So all of that, all you gotta do is click that join button right underneath the video. Thank you.